Hi, this is Tanya from Love Buddha Tarot, back with the cards for the 24th of January 2017. Right, the cards today, little bit strange, but I really like the message with them. They made me smile again. They didn't make me laugh like yesterday's, but they did make me smile. The first one that comes in here is the Two of Swords. Now, the Two of Swords, this talks about blocks, okay? And when this card comes up, it usually means that there's something you're not wanting to see, something that you're trying to block off, and it's sort of it's possibly like a decision, maybe even a painful decision, because this card talks about indecision. Um, this card says is that there's no point closing your eyes to it. What I'm getting with this, it's like sort of wanting to put your fingers in your ears and like I'm not listening, you know. But when you take your fingers out your ears and when you take that blindfold off, everything is still going to be there. So massive ostrich syndrome coming in with this, burying your head in the sand. And what this card is saying is it won't work. What was actually made me laugh when this card first came out, I got the was it Steelers Wheels song, like clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right, stuck in the middle with you. And that was what I got with this, because I feel it's like being between a rock and a hard place if we have a look at that. And like I say, just not wanting to see it. Cutting emotions off, if we have a look, she's got her arms crossed over her heart, so she's blocking her heart here. So there's nothing getting in and nothing going out neither. So she's not neither giving nor she's receiving. What she has actually done is just made herself rigid, and basically on the defensive as well. Like I say, there's the blindfold on here, and this is like not wanting to, not being prepared to see the truth or not wanting to acknowledge the truth. Like I say, it's sort of like, when a little kid will hide their eyes and say, all right, I can't see you, and try and blocking it out. And, we can't do that. If everything was as easy, it would be brilliant, but we can't, but this is what she's trying to do in this. And she feels that in a way, by doing this, she's actually protecting herself. But what she's doing is cutting herself off from feeling any joy, Now, when we function from our heart center, this is when we are able to feel joy, When we are coming from our heart and coming from our soul, this is when we feel joy. I mentioned yesterday, I think it was on yesterday's card, about blissful. But what this is saying is when we cut off the flow and we close our heart, we can never truly be happy. So if we look at this card, she looks a little bit isolated. She's, like I say, she's protecting herself. She has the blindfold on, but there's no real happiness there. It's not like she is in a good place. It's not like the actions that she is doing is actually making her life better, So what this card says is that you need to look at all pros and cons. You need to weigh up options, because whenever we get twos in tarot, it's always about choices and decisions, and what this is saying is that you may need to change your way of thinking here as well, because this card talks about maybe digging your heels in and being stubborn as well. Now, this card is not about winning, it's not. And when we want to win a situation, or when we are that rigid, and we can't be moved, that is our ego, And remember, our ego is our false friend. So being stubborn is not actually helping you here, There needs to be a truce of some sort called, because what's happened here is everything's at a stalemate, Something hasn't started, something hasn't ended, something hasn't whatever. It's all just at a stalemate, and this is meaning that nothing is happening, So this needs to be broken. Whenever I get this card in as well, I always think of like analyst, and I always have trouble saying this, analysis paralysis, and this is because your thinking has gone on that much in your head that it has actually caused you to freeze. So nothing is happening. Now, we all think, like I say, I've mentioned the book before, that what is it, the untethered soul, Yeah, where this also always talks about our mind and how, thinking is necessary in some cases, but overthinking is actually dangerous, and overthinking can leave us that scared that we end up paralyzed, and we don't do anything. So, like I say, with this card, any barriers that have been put up need to be taken down now, because if you don't, the tension in them will cause them to crack anyway. So, like I say, there's no running away when this card comes. There's no skulking off into the corner and pretending, like people aren't seeing, or whatever. And again, it's talking about like not letting fear or pride stop you from opening up. Because again, fear and pride are egoic sort of thought patterns and egoic processes. So this is saying that you need balance, and the balance needs to be restored at this time. So what you need to say here is, ask yourself, where is it that you are cutting yourself off? What is it that you do not want to see as well? What is it you do not want to see, and what is it you do not want to like face head on here? And it's also saying, is being cold and rigid worth hurting yourself and possibly other people as well? Is doing what society expects of you worth more than what your soul wants and your soul needs as well? So this card is saying that it's time to let your guard down. You need to take that blindfold off, you need to open your eyes, and you need to stop pretending that everything is fine, because it's not. Now, fine, that's just come in there with the analysis paralysis. There's a friend of mine, and whenever she'll say, "How are you doing, Tanya?" and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm fine." And she said, "Fine does mean fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional." So like I say, you may be pretending everything's fine, but it's pretty fucked up. So like I say, this is about opening your eyes, seeing things how they really are. It's often quite painful, when we take the blindfold off as well, and we do see the truth, because if you've been in the dark for a while, when suddenly a bright light comes on, it sort of, it's even the softest light will like blind you, if you've been in the dark for that much, or if you've lived in the dark. But being blinded by the light is a lot preferable to living in the dark and living into this coldness that is coming in with this card. There's a quote that came in when I looked at this card as well, and it's a quote, and it says, "We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light." And that was Plato that said that, years ago. So they knew it then, you are no different. So like I say, the guard needs to be let down here. Take the blindfold off, open your heart, and tackle what needs to be done, because otherwise you're just going to stay in this, I don't know, stay in this dark cloud. Nothing is moving with this. That's the thing. There's no movement, and we need movement. Things cannot stay the same forever, and there is change. So like I say, it's time to face the facts head on, I think. So then we got the Osho card, and bizarrely enough, I've never thought about them similar, but they're so the same, this. And this is the card of laziness. And this is telling you, don't get complacent where you are. Like I say, she's stuck there, but it's not a good place to be, because what could happen there is that tide could come in, and that tide could actually, sort of engulf her, really, with that. So with this, it's saying, this guy is here, and if we have a look at him, he's sitting back, he's relaxing, he's drinking his drink, and he's like, all right, okay, this is it. I've got everything I need. But if we have a look at this as well, he has sunglasses on. So like I say, both of these cards, they're trying not to see something here. And because he has these sunglasses on, and he's sitting in sort of, a comfortable place, quite sloth-like, I'm getting with this, quite sloth-like. But because of this, he's not seeing. Now, some say these are mirrors, some say these are ice, it's actually coming in as mirrors today. So the mirrors are starting to crack. So what I feel as well with this is, when we look in the mirror, we see ourselves. So what I'm getting with this is this persona that he has built up for himself. I don't want to say it again, but a bit like the Donald Trump, um, is starting to crack here. So it's because it wasn't a true picture of how things are or how he was. So he's sitting there, he's not wanting to look in the mirror. This mirror is cracking. This mirror is ready to shatter and dissolve around him. And this is his stability. This is what is keeping him up. So it's like there, he doesn't have the energy to get up and do anything, because he's like, right, okay, I've done what needs to be done. So what this card is saying is like, laziness is actually non-action. So you can tell yourself that, all right, okay, I'm just taking a chill out, I'm just taking a rest, but it's not. He is putting something off here, and that is when we are being lazy, when we don't do something that needs to be done. And that is really non-action, which is happening with this, just cutting yourself off from everything and thinking everything will disappear, and it won't. But like I say, this structure he has got, he might be sitting pretty at the moment, but he is going to come crashing down to the ground. So this card is telling you, that you need to be careful. You need to be careful, because there are things, I feel, that are ready to fall away from you here, if you don't actually make action. These cards are telling you, you need to do, there's things need to be done as well. Yes, you might have been through a bit of a hard time, and yes, you might be taking this rest, but you cannot rest forever. You cannot block out forever neither. Everything in life involves movement, and everything involves nature as well. And you always need to be alert of what is coming next. Now, this card as well, like I say, it's quite sloth-like. I'm quite seeing quite slovenly, and I don't like this. There is no gratitude with there. He's sitting back thinking, right, I've got my drink, I've got, my nice comfortable sofa, I've got my slippers on, and that's fine. But he's taking it for granted. Now, this card, like I say, is we need gratitude. And when we practice gratitude, and it should be practiced as a daily ritual as well. Some people just are never happy, and whatever, you could give them the moon and they would say, yeah, but where are the stars? My mum used to say they would take your eyes and still come back for the sockets. And that is what is coming in with this card as well. Both of these figures are not actually seeing that there is a lot going for them, but they're not seeing it. They're taking it for granted. There's quite a selfish feeling coming in with this as well. And what we need to look at here is that happiness doesn't bring gratitude. Gratitude brings happiness. So this is, gratitude is key within everything. So this card is saying, don't just sit back and accept things how they are. A move needs to be made here. There's a golden opportunity as well that I feel has the potential to bring long-term happiness, and it's like the universe is presenting it to you, but you need to help along the way as well, because with this card, it's, it's gonna pass you by. And I do feel, like I say, that this, when his world comes crashing down, he's not going to be as what's the word I'm looking for with this? His comforts are going to disappear as well. But what's the word? There's a word I'm looking for this. Complacent, I think I've already used that, but that's it. When his world comes crashing down. Right, okay, they're giving me another song here. Like a Rolling Stone, by Bob Dylan or the Rolling Stones, whoever you want to listen to it by. Yeah, how does it feel when you're on your own with no direction home? And yeah, that was about Edie Sedgwick. Now, Edie Sedgwick, Very interesting character. I actually quite like Edie Sedgwick. You know, I've read quite a bit about her. She was this massive socialite, and she knocked around with Andy Warhol and Bob Dylan and everything. My daughter's just texted me today. She's in Berlin, and she's texted me to say she's seen her first Warhol. So she's absolutely buzzing. So sorry, I've just gone off course there. I need to talk to her about that in a bit. But yeah, so what happened with Edie Sedgwick is she was this rich socialite. She had everything. She was beautiful. She had money. She had whatever. Very messed up in the head, and took a lot of drugs as well. And what she would do, she would flit from different circles, and she would cause problems within them circles. She would gossip quite a lot, you know. And like I say, yesterday we talked about the untrustworthy and stuff like that as well. And basically, she, you know, or everybody loved her, but then her actions and the way she went on ended up where everybody just said, you know what, I don't want this anymore. You know, I don't want this. You're trouble, you know, with a capital T. And she ended up alone, destitute, living on the streets with nothing. She eventually, I'm not sure if she killed herself or she died of mental illness. I think I think there was something there, but she ended up, and that was what that song was, you know. And it was about, you know, people taking people for granted, people taking people, you know, that were offering things for granted. And, you know, you can't do this. You know, we need to be grateful for everybody that comes into our life and whatever they can offer us as well. And, you know, because what happens, like I say, a rolling stone, it gathers no moss, you know. So by not staying somewhere, it's sort of, you know, like I say, she lost her direction, you know, but she should have took responsibility, because it was her actions that caused that. So sorry, I've just gone totally off on one there, you know, but very interesting character. Please look up Edie Sedgwick, you know. Very beautiful girl, you know, but not that beautiful on the inside, you know. Very, like I say, very, very messed up. So sorry, I don't know why that was brought in there. Right, okay. So the Colette Baron Reid card that we have as well. So like I say, that card is telling you get off your butt and make a move as well, you know. What this card is saying is there is conditions in our life that we have no control over. You know, things will happen within life and we don't have any control over, but we have to just take them as they are. You know, like I say, we've got to ride with them, you know, and life is easier for us if we don't fight them. But the one thing we can't do is ignore them. And I feel this is what the two cards in here are saying, you know. They're trying to ignore what is happening, and you can't with this, you know. Change is inevitable. And once changes start, once the universe actually starts to make changes, we cannot do anything about them, you know. We've just got to sort of roll with it and, you know, accept them as well, because change only happens when things need to be changed, you know. Like I say, when I was talking to some of the little Iraq kids the other day, one of them said to me that change is when something we've been doing hasn't been working, so we need to do it in a different way, you know. And I just thought that was beautiful, and that is what's happening here as well. And with this card, it's like the storm is ready to blow away any structures that you may have built dreams on or whatever like that. A little bit like the Tower card, this as well. And it's saying no matter how much you cling, you know, these changes are going to happen. And there is a reason for that, you know. So like I say, you know, open your eyes, see what's happening, roll with it, feel it, see where you are guided to be, where you are being guided to go. Because like I say, there's a change, right? Okay, they're bringing me Bob Dylan again. What is the thing with Bob Dylan here? You know, the answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. You know, that's oh, I don't even know. I'm not even going into the words of that one because I can't. I want to wrap this reading up. I've got loads of work to do today. So yeah, so the answer is blown in the wind, you know, and times they are changing. Will you stop it? Honestly, I've got a full Bob Geldof, Bob Dylan soundtrack in my head today. I wonder if they're all off a certain album. I'm gonna have to have a look and I'll tell you tomorrow. So yeah, so we've got like a Rolling Stone, we've got Blowing in the Wind. Was that Bob Dylan. He did sing it, didn't he? It was Ralph McTell, wasn't it? Really, right? And yeah, the times they are a changing. So that's what's coming in. I want to end with a quote with that one. And I love this quote. It's one of my favorite quotes, and it has got me through so many times within my life. I love it. If it wasn't as big, I would probably have it tattooed on me somewhere. But I don't think there's anywhere there big enough to actually put that apart from my butt, I think. But yeah, no tattoos there. So right. So what the quote is, and once the storm is over, you won't remember how you made it through, how you managed to survive. You won't even be sure whether the storm is really over. But one thing is certain. When you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person who walked in. That's what the storm's all about. And I love that. And I feel that whenever we are going through, like I say, there's painful decisions need to be made here. And whenever we are going through change, or change is forced upon us in any way, this is because we need to change. We are at a growth spurt and we need to get through it. And although it can be hard, and although it can be, we can just want a little bit peace or whatever. When we are in the eye of the storm, it is very, very hard. But once you get out of that storm, you are a different person. You are stronger, you are wiser, and you have moved on to like the next level as well, So like I say, a little bit of a stuckness I feel with the cards today, but nothing to worry about. Just open your eyes, tackle it head on. Don't be afraid. Like I say, don't be afraid of anything, because fear of something can actually be more damaging to us than what the actual thing we are scared of is. So it's facing your fears head on and realizing that they're not really that powerful. There's a friend once said to me, it was a couple of years ago, and I loved it, and she said, fear knocked at the door, and when faith went to answer it, there was nobody there. And I think that sums up this reading. Like I say, don't be scared. You will do what you have to do. And this is all part of a learning for you as well. Like I say, there's been a lot of lessons lately, but there's good. I'm, like I say, a change in the wind, but I feel that this is in a good way. I'm not getting a bad feeling with these cards. I just feel that you need to like wake up and smell the coffee, man. That's what's needed. So I hope you like them cards. If anybody would like a reading with me, please get in touch via my Facebook or my website. The links are below. I have put monthly videos up now. I have started doing monthly videos, so they're up. I think I've got 3 more to do. I will do them today, so they will be up by the end of today as well. And please let me know what you think of those as well, because like I say, it's just something new, but it's something that I need to do, and I was called to do them, and I really enjoyed it. They were quite insightful. So thank you very much for watching. Like I say, just open your eyes, see things as they are, and everything will be fine. Okay, Satnam.